I'm Dr. Liam, and this is The Diagnosis. Would your game team rather lose the producer who runs the stand-ups or the one who always seems to know what's about to go wrong? I've watched this dynamic play out in game studios, in classrooms, in corporate teams, on fixed contracts. The setting changes, the pattern underneath does not. I've worked with leaders who were deeply technical, brilliant even. They knew the code base, they knew the design systems, they could jump in and fix things faster than anyone on their team. And that was always the problem. Because every time something broke, they fixed it. Every time a decision needed to be made, they made it. Every time a junior team member hit a wall, the leader was already there with the answer before the question was fully formed. The team wasn't growing, they were waiting. Not because they were lazy, but because the system had trained them that their leader would handle it. So think of Superman responding to every alarm, every falling building, every runaway train. Metropolis never burns down, but it's always one crisis away from the next big thing. Because Superman's always solving symptoms, not systems. A leader in the weeds does the same thing, and nobody builds the early warning system because Superman will just show up anyway. The research on this is consistent. Leaders who remain operationally embedded, what organizational psychology calls micromanagement or low autonomy support, suppress team development, reduce psychological ownership, and create single points of failure in knowledge transfer. The leader becomes the system, and systems that depend on one person don't scale. Here's the thing about being in the weeds. It doesn't feel like control from the inside. It feels like care. It feels like being a good teammate. It feels like not leaving the people you lead to struggle alone. That instinct isn't wrong, but when it becomes the default, it costs the team something they can't get back. The best producers I've worked with were the ones you barely noticed in the room, not because they weren't present, but because they'd built teams that didn't need to be rescued. They asked questions instead of giving answers. They let the team sit with problems long enough to develop instincts, and they reserved their intervention for the things that only they could see. That's not detachment, that's the actual job. I don't think leaders end up in the weeds because they don't trust their teams. I think most of them got there because they were rewarded for being the most capable person in the room. And nobody told them that that skill that made them great as an individual contributor is exactly what holds a team back when they lead from it. If your team can't make decisions without you, that's not a team, that's a dependency. The goal isn't to be indispensable, it's to build something that works even when you're not watching.